Okay, it's another edition of Wellness Wednesday, and this week we're joined by Dr. Dina Kulik, pediatrician and founder of Kidcrew.
And we've been talking a lot about stories as parents this week. We wanted to dive deeper in a couple of recent medical stories that involve children. Dr. Kulik, good morning. Want to start with this. The HP vaccines. Canada is recommending a 2 to 3 dose regimen for kids 9 to 15 years old, but England is dropping that to 1 dose. So what's the argument here in favor of moving it to just 1 dose?
So currently, the HPV vaccine in Canada, in most provinces, is given 2 or even 3 times. But there has been a move around the world, in Australia and some areas of the UK, to give only 1 dose because it's found to be quite protective against HPV vaccine, which helps prevent cervical cancer and penile cancers. However, we're not quite sure yet how long that immunity lasts. There's some thought that it will give about a decade or 2 of protection, but if we're looking for longer lasting effects, perhaps 2 or 3 doses would be needed.
So what's the argument, I guess you just laid it out against the 1 dose regime is that you kind of don't know, but are you in favor of one or the other?
I think there's value in giving just 1 because sometimes it's challenging to have kids come back again for their second or third dose. They may be lost to follow-up. However, giving just 1 vaccine means there can be more efforts, money, resources put into making sure more people have 1 single vaccine. If that's effective enough, that might be a better approach.
Okay, interesting concept or idea there. Thank you, Dr. Kulik. Moving on, though, this week, we've also seen lawmakers south of the border taking a stand against one particular energy drink for its caffeine levels and also its marketing to children. It's Prime. You've likely seen these at a lot of gas stations. Prime Energy has the equivalent caffeine of 6 cans of Coke. So let's start with what kind of impacts any level of caffeine can have on children.
So typically we recommend that children less than 12 consume no caffeine at all. So including pop and other drinks like this that have additional caffeine in them. Less than 12 years of old, kids should have none. After 12 years of old, we recommend no more than 100 milligrams a day. And that's the equivalent of a large coffee, for example. Typically, though, we recommend none because caffeine has potential side effects for kids and for adults, including hyperactivity and irritability, poor appetite, poor sleep, and this can lead to a range of behavioral and emotional problems for children.
So, when we're talking about the equivalent of 6 cans of Coke in a drink, what are the impacts, especially at this high level if a child does consume that much caffeine?
I picture it the way I would picture an adult on a few espresso shots, right? So their heart rates are going to be going, they're going to be breathing more quickly, they're going to be sweating, they might be less attentive, more irritable, more emotional, thinking about those kind of like swings of energy that we would have if we had a lot of caffeine. And that can lead to a lot of challenges at school and at home for these kids.
And, Dr. Kulik, it's interesting because, my kids beg for Prime and, it's a hard no, right? But it says right on the label, this is not for children. So they say it's not for children on the label, but the marketing really appears to be aimed a lot at children or sort of teens, tweens, et cetera. How concerned are you about the way it's being marketed, despite what it may say on the label?
Very concerned. You think about when I was growing up on, traditional TV, we were being marketed to, and kids still are, for, sugary breakfast cereals or other foods that were less nutritious. These kids, they're trying to be cool. They're trying to be the one at school that's getting the attention. And when you're seeing celebrities and other famous people looking cool, drinking these beverages, or similarly, wearing certain clothes or going to certain events, you want to be like them consciously or subconsciously. So it's hard when you're triggering these ads towards very impressionable young people.
And it's all through the internet, right? So it can access, kids here, even though the U.S. Food and Drug Administration is looking into it. Do you think Health Canada needs to take a similar approach?
Absolutely. I think the more guards we have against kids being advertised to in this way and access to these beverages and foods this way, the better, for sure.
Okay, Dr. Dina Kulik, really appreciate you joining us. You're the founder of Kidcrew and pediatrician. Thanks for being here on this Wellness Wednesday. Really important information today. Thank you.
Thank you.